If you're watching this video, chances are you've heard or even believed that simply placing the right plant in your home will naturally bring you more wealth. People talk about money trees, lucky bamboo, prosperity trees, about auspicious corners, about compatible or incompatible elements, and especially about 2026. A year many believe where even a small misstep can cause financial ruin. But before we discuss what plants to grow, where to place them, and which elements are compatible, I want you to pause and ask yourself a very simple question. Why do some people have homes full of feng shui plants, meticulously cared for, yet still face financial difficulties, while others, with just an ordinary plan, without any prayers or blind faith, find their lives gradually becoming more stable over time? This question isn't meant to deny feng shui, but to protect you from misunderstanding it. Because if houseplants could truly attract wealth in the simple way many online videos claim, then the world wouldn't have so many people worrying about money. Feng shui, if transformed into a quick formula, an instant way to change one's luck, will sooner or later become a form of mental sedative. It provides peace of mind, but doesn't improve one's life. In 2026, with so much economic, career, and psychological change, is not the year to live based on such simplistic beliefs. In this video, we won't talk about houseplants in the sense of planting trees brings money. We will talk about houseplants according to the true nature of mindful feng shui. Trees don't bring you money, but they can change your state of mind. And when your state of mind changes, the way you view, keep, and create money will also change. We'll go very slowly and meticulously from choosing plants, arranging them, and placing them in different spaces to determining which plants are auspicious for the year 2026, but all based on one overarching principle. Feng shui doesn't change luck, feng shui only changes people. If you're looking for a video promising quick riches, this is probably not the place for you. But if you want to understand why a plant placed in the right spot can make your life less chaotic and thus allow wealth to flow in, then stay until the end of this video. Long before feng shui became a popular social media keyword, people associated trees with the concepts of wealth and prosperity, not because trees generate money, but because trees are the most vivid symbol of growth. A tree grows every day, slowly but continuously. And subconsciously, people always yearn for such growth in their financial lives. Not necessarily getting rich quickly, just not falling behind, not running out of resources, not dying prematurely. When money becomes a constant worry, the image of a living, green, resilient organism with roots deeply embedded in the soil provides a sense of security that the numbers in a bank account cannot offer. During periods of economic stability, people rarely talk about feng shui trees. But when entering a time of uncertainty, when income is no longer guaranteed, when jobs can disappear with a single decision, ornamental plants are mentioned more than ever. It's not superstition, but a natural psychological reaction when people feel out of control. At this point, the plant becomes a source of spiritual support. It gives people the feeling that they are still doing something, however small, to protect their future. But it is here that a misunderstanding begins to form. When people are desperate for complex solutions, they easily believe that a single symbolic act is enough to turn their lives around. And so, the plant is no longer a part of the living space, but is elevated to a tool for changing fortune. People begin to ask not whether the plant is healthy, but whether it attracts money. They no longer care about the harmony of the space, but only focus on finding the lucky corner, according to folklore. At that point, the plant is no longer loved, but assigned a task it never had. Ironically, even though that belief may be fundamentally wrong, it still creates a very real sense of hope. And hope, in a life full of pressure, is what people cling to most easily. Popular feng shui has exploited this point, turning the symbol of growth into a promise of money. But mindful feng shui looks at the story differently. It doesn't ask if the tree brings money, but why people need a symbol to believe that money will come. Because when you understand that, you'll realize the problem was never with the tree, but with the state of mind of the person who placed it in their home. And this is the crucial point for 2026. This is not a year where wealth comes from random breakthroughs. This is a year that demands psychological stability, resilience, and slow growth. Ornamental plants become important in this context not because they attract money, but because they reflect exactly what people need most to avoid losing themselves under prolonged financial pressure. If you view plants merely as objects that bring in money, you will soon be disappointed. But if you see plants as a reminder of sustainable growth, you are beginning to understand the true role of feng shui in modern life. To properly understand the role of plants in feng shui, we must return to a fundamental question. What does original feng shui truly care about? The answer is not money. Classical feng shui, from the initial stages to the later stages, does not begin with wealth, but with vital energy. Vital energy is the living state of a space, the degree of circulation, harmony, and stability of the environment in which people live. Money is only a very distant, very late consequence, and only appears when people have lived long enough in a space with good vital energy. In the 5-element system, plants belong to the wood element. Wood represents beginnings, growth, and developing life. But wood does not directly generate metal. To reach metal, that is, money and material possessions, one must go through a very long chain. Wood generates fire, fire generates earth, and earth generates metal. This means that in original feng shui, plants have never been considered money-making machines. Plants are just the first step in a very slow, very long process that requires patience. When social media simplifies that entire process to planting trees brings money, the essence of feng shui is distorted to suit the impatient mindset of modern people. Classical feng shui views plants as a balancing element. A space without greenery is often dry, rigid, and lacking movement. When people live in such spaces for a long time, their psychology easily becomes tense, withdrawn, and short-sighted. Plants are introduced not to beg for favors, but to break that stagnation. A leaf gently swaying in the wind, a potted plant needing regular watering, a living organism changing over time, all of these have a powerful impact on the human nervous system, even if people are unaware of it. Original feng shui works at such a deep level, not at the level of words or blind belief. The most common misunderstanding today is the confusion between symbolism and cause. Plants are considered symbols of growth, but symbolism isn't the source of results. When someone places a plant in their home and finds their life improves, the change isn't a windfall of money, but rather their own state of mind. They begin to pay more attention to their space, become more mindful of their rhythm of life, and unconsciously adjust how they work, spend money, and make decisions. However, mainstream feng shui often overlooks this aspect as it's less appealing than quick promises. Another misconception is viewing plants as independent items, separate from the overall living space. In original feng shui, there's no concept of one plant saving the whole house. A beautiful potted plant cannot compensate for a cluttered, dark, and stressful space. Conversely, in an already harmonious space, a very ordinary potted plant is enough to increase vitality. When people buy many plants hoping to compensate for other disruptions in their lives, feng shui is then transformed into a subtle form of avoidance. And there's something even more important that few people talk about. Original feng shui doesn't encourage dependence. The more a person believes their fate is in the hands of an object, the weaker their inner strength becomes. True feng shui doesn't make you reliant on others, but rather encourages self-reflection through your living space. Plants in that role are like a very quiet mirror. If you are patient enough to look, you will see how you care for your plants clearly reflects how you are caring for your life. Therefore, before moving on to sections like choosing which plants to place, where to put them, and how to choose plants that are compatible with your element in 2026, one thing needs to be clearly established. Plants in feng shui are not a promise of wealth, but a tool to nurture a stable state of life where wealth can remain. If you approach feng shui with a begging mindset, you will be disappointed. But if you approach feng shui with an observant and adaptable mindset, houseplants will begin to fulfill their proper role, quietly, without mysticism, but with lasting durability. After dissecting common misconceptions, we can now move on to the most important part, the real mechanism. It's not a universe-rewarding money mechanism, nor is it spiritual energy falling from the sky, but rather a series of very specific, everyday influences, often overlooked because they don't create an immediate sense of magic. Original feng shui doesn't operate through magic. It operates through the environment, and the environment always directly impacts behavior, lifestyles, and decision-making. Plants, when properly arranged, don't create money. They create conditions that prevent people from losing money, squandering opportunities, and falling into prolonged mistakes. And it is these three things over time that lead to financial improvement. The first mechanism is its impact on the nervous system. A space with real, living plants, not artificial ones, reduces the stress levels in the brain. This isn't just feng shui. Neuroscience has confirmed it. When stress decreases, people make decisions more slowly and impulsively. Less impulsiveness means less wasted money, less emotional investment, and fewer yes to unnecessary things. Many people think their finances are bad because of low income. But the truth is that most financial losses come from repeatedly making small, wrong decisions. Houseplants, by calming the environment, subtly break that chain of mistakes. The second mechanism is restoring a regular rhythm. A living plant requires rhythmic care, not too much, but consistent. Watering, observing the leaves, adjusting the lighting. When a person maintains such a small, regular rhythm each day, the brain begins to reestablish the concept of gentle discipline. Not harsh discipline, but discipline sufficient to sustain. And it is this type of discipline that is directly related to sustainable finance. Rhythmic spending, cyclical work, limited rest. Fundamental feng shui places great importance on rhythm, and plants are the simplest tool for teaching rhythm. The third mechanism is creating cognitive anchors. When a potted plant is placed in the right location, it becomes a point your eyes frequently touch. Each time the brain receives a familiar, stable signal. Over time, this anchor helps reduce feelings of inner turmoil. A less turbulent person is less likely to make financial decisions in extreme emotional states. That is, buying to soothe, investing to recoup losses, or borrowing out of panic. This is a very deep mechanism, but its impact is enormous. The fourth mechanism is restructuring the relationship with growth. Plants grow slowly. You don't water them one day and expect them to double the next. After living with plants long enough, people begin to adjust their expectations of growth. They learn to accept the process, and as their thinking about growth changes, so does their view of money. They are less likely to seek shortcuts, less likely to believe in spurious returns, and begin to invest their time in things that accumulate slowly but surely. This is the level of feng shui that impatient people will never reach. The fifth mechanism is rearranging the spatial order, which in turn brings financial order. When you decide to place a plant in a specific location, you are forced to make room for it. And once you've cleared one space, you'll very often clear another. The space begins to become more orderly. Order in space clearly reflects order in finances. Knowing what is needed, what is superfluous, what should be kept, what should be discarded. Original Feng Shui always emphasizes, wealth doesn't enter cluttered places, not because it's bad luck, but because people living in clutter cannot manage the flow. Therefore, if viewed rationally, houseplants don't attract money. They reduce distractions, stabilize the rhythm, increase the ability to retain wealth, and reduce the probability of mistakes. And when these things happen long enough, money begins to stay. This mechanism is slow, but extremely real. It doesn't require you to believe it, just that you live long enough in a properly arranged space. Therefore, in mindful feng shui, the question isn't, is this tree sacred? But rather, what state is this tree creating for the people living in this space? When you understand this mechanism, you will no longer be swayed by sensational advertisements, but will begin choosing trees and locations with a completely different level of calm. When it comes to choosing feng shui plants, the most common mistake is immediately asking, what plant should I grow to attract money? This question sounds reasonable, but in fundamental feng shui, it's a misguided one. Plants aren't chosen based on their name, nor because others have experienced success with them. They're chosen because they suit the space, the people, and the prevailing energy flow. If these three factors don't align, no matter how beautiful the plant is, it's merely decoration or even a disruptive element. Awakened feng shui doesn't recommend starting with a list of hot plants. It requires you to begin with observation. Observe your living space first, then consider the plants. A house lacking natural light, with low ceilings and heavy air, that tries to place plants that require a lot of positive energy, will weaken the plants, and when they weaken, it backfires. Conversely, a bright, airy space with overly dark, drooping and soft-stem plants will slow down the overall energy of the house, making the pace of life for those living there sluggish. The first principle when choosing plants is to select according to the space's energy, not according to slogans. Spaces with abundant positive energy, that is, bright with lots of movement and people coming and going, need plants with sturdy trunks, distinct leaves, and compact canopies to maintain the rhythm. Spaces with abundant negative energy, that is, with little light, quiet, and enclosed, need plants with strong vitality, fresh leaves, and upward-facing branches to enhance the energy. Plants should not be chosen to overwhelm the space, but to balance it. When balance is achieved, vitality will emerge. The second principle is to choose plants according to the rhythm of the person caring for them, not according to their birth element. Many people say that a plant that suits the wood element should be planted, and a plant that suits the metal element should be avoided. But they never ask, does that person have enough rhythm to care for the plant? A person who lives a fast-paced life, is frequently away from home, and has a scattered mind will find that a plant requiring delicate care will eventually wither. When a plant withers, it reflects the owner's state of mind, and the energy in the house declines rapidly. Fundamental feng shui discourages forced relationships between people and objects. In mindful feng shui, compatibility isn't about color or name, but about the degree of synchronicity between the person's rhythm and the plant's rhythm. A hot-tempered, decisive person is suited to a healthy plant that can withstand mistakes. A calm, slow, and tranquil person is suited to a plant that requires constant observation. Choosing the opposite will create a constantly tense atmosphere, a very dangerous state for long-term finances. Entering 2026, the element of timing needs to be considered on another level. 2026 is a year where the general trend in society leans towards tightening, restructuring, and selection. Things that are ostentatious grow quickly but are hollow inside are likely to collapse. Therefore, when choosing plants, the principle of durability first, beauty later, becomes more important than ever. Plants symbolizing slow accumulation, with sturdy trunks, leaves that aren't too thin, and stable vitality are more suitable than fast-growing but weak-rooted plants. The third principle is to choose a plant whose form aligns with your true financial goals. If you are in the process of stabilizing your finances and need to preserve money rather than earn it quickly, a plant with a round canopy, sturdy trunk, and slow growth is the right choice. If you are restarting your career and need to open up new opportunities, a plant with upward-reaching leaves and an open but not tangled canopy will provide better support. Feng Shui always views plants as a physical manifestation of life goals, not as a charm. A very important but often overlooked point is long-term compatibility. A truly auspicious plant is one that, after 6 months or a year, you still find pleasant to look at, without feeling burdened or bothered. If you initially felt compelled to force yourself to like a plant simply because you heard it was good, then it's not the right plant for you. Feng Shui doesn't force, it's a natural companionship. And only with genuine companionship will the energy remain stable long enough to create change in your financial life. In short, choosing a plant in mindful Feng Shui is a process of selecting compatibility, not magic. You choose a plant as you choose a new rhythm of life, a different way of being present in your own space. Once compatibility is established, all subsequent impacts, from psychology and behavior to finances, occur naturally without coercion. After choosing the right plant, the next question isn't where to place it for great success, but rather where to place it so that the energy doesn't dissipate, money doesn't leak away, and the rhythm of life isn't disrupted. In fundamental Feng Shui, the placement of a plant is more important than its name, because the location determines how vital energy flows through the space. A plant that's right but placed in the wrong spot can slow down the flow of energy, creating a prolonged feeling of stagnation that the inhabitants don't realize the cause of. The first principle when placing a plant is that it must stand where energy flows, not where it's trapped. Energy in a house doesn't stand still. It moves along pathways, doorways, light, in daily routines. Placing a plant in a frequently used energy path helps it act as a filter, softening the energy flow and retaining necessary vital energy. Conversely, if a plant is placed in a dead corner where few people pass through and energy doesn't circulate, the plant will gradually decline, leading to financial stagnation. In 2026, when the overall energy is focused on gathering, retaining, and stabilizing, locations near the main entrance require special attention. The main entrance is where energy enters, and money also enters. But if you place a tree that is too large, with a tangled canopy obstructing the entrance or light, you are inadvertently blocking the flow of vital energy from the start. Mindful feng shui does not recommend placing a tree to block the door to retain money. That is a dangerous misunderstanding. Retaining money is not by blocking, but by guiding and regulating it. The appropriate location near the main entrance in 2026 is slightly to the side, enough for the tree to receive light and movement, but not directly facing the entrance. The tree here acts as a regulator, slowing down the flow of energy into the house just enough to prevent it from spreading, but still open enough to allow opportunities to remain unobstructed. If placed correctly, people in the house will generally feel more at ease when entering, and financial decisions will be less hasty. The living room is where most people place plants, but it is also the easiest place to place them incorrectly. The living room is a space of positive energy with much interaction and movement. Plants placed here should help stabilize the rhythm, not add to the disruption. Positions near the main seating area, where the eye frequently sees them, are crucial. If the plant there has a messy shape, drooping leaves, or a weak trunk, it will continuously send negative signals to the subconscious of the person sitting there, leading to anxiety, impulsive spending, or ill-advised financial decisions. A common mistake is placing a large plant behind the back of a chair with the belief that it provides support. In reality, if the plant is too tall, with its branches spreading overhead, it creates a feeling of being overwhelmed. In basic feng shui, a plant is only considered a support when it is healthy, has a compact canopy, doesn't obscure the head, and doesn't cast a heavy shadow. If this isn't achieved, it's better to leave the back of the chair empty or use a more static object. For the home workspace, the placement of plants directly affects personal cash flow. In 2026, when work demands focus and perseverance rather than rapid expansion, plants should be placed in locations that promote alertness and avoid distractions. The ideal position is diagonally in front of the desk, where the eye can glance at them during breaks, but without obstructing the view. Plants placed too close to the hand will cause constant attention, creating a mild but prolonged mental distraction. There are certain locations in the home where mindful feng shui discourages placing plants related to wealth, especially in 2026. The bedroom is one example. Bedrooms are places for gathering and restoring energy. Placing dynamic, energetic plants there can easily lead to shallow sleep and restless minds. When sleep is affected, the ability to retain money and make long-term decisions will decrease, though you may not see the immediate effects. If you must place a plant, it should be very small, far from the bed, and the plant must be very stable. The kitchen also requires caution, The kitchen represents fire, while plants represent wood. If placed improperly, excessive wood-generating fire can create an overly heated atmosphere in the home, increasing expenses and hindering financial accumulation. While feng shui principles don't prohibit plants in the kitchen, they require clear placement, avoiding plants encroaching on the main cooking area. In short, placing plants correctly means placing them within the proper flow of the house's energy. When plants are in the right place, they don't need to attract money. The way they regulate energy helps the inhabitants slow down, think more deeply, and maintain financial stability, the most important thing in 2026. When it comes to choosing plants according to one's element, many people immediately fall into two extremes. One is absolute belief that only certain types of plants, as traditionally believed, should be planted according to one's element. The other is complete denial. That element is merely a formality with no practical value. Awakened feng shui doesn't stand at either of these extremes. It considers element as a point of reference, not a cage to confine human choices. The 5 elements are not a list of forbidden or permitted things. They are a language to describe each person's natural temperament. Some people lean towards stability, others towards movement. Some are strong in thinking, others in action. Choosing plants that match one's element is, in essence, about selecting an element to balance that temperament, not mechanically doubling it. A person with the wood element is often advised to plant many trees, but if that person is already sensitive and easily swayed and lives in a space with many green plants, then an excessive amount of wood energy will make them indecisive and hinder their financial accumulation. In this case, the choice of plant isn't about increasing the wood element, but about balancing it, using plants with sturdy trunks, compact shapes, and minimal tangles helps the grower maintain rhythm and focus. People with the metal element are often advised to avoid green plants, but that's a rigid interpretation. Metal doesn't dislike wood, it dislikes imbalance. A person with the metal element living in a dry, cold space with many hard objects and no green elements will easily fall into a state of tension and isolation, making it difficult to open up new financial opportunities. For them, they don't need many plants, but they need to be the right ones. Healthy plants with compact canopies, clear leaves, placed in positions that soften the space without disrupting the structure. The water element is often associated with plants that have soft leaves and many drooping branches, but if chosen incorrectly, overly yin plants can cause people with the water element to drift emotionally and lack anchor points. Mindful feng shui advises those with the water element to choose plants with a clear upward direction, helping to create a stable axis. Especially in 2026, when distraction is a major risk to personal finances. Those with the fire element are inherently dynamic and powerful, so many avoid plants for fear of wood-generating fire, leading to excessive energy. However, the issue isn't about generation or conflict, but about control. Without the element of greenery to regulate their energy, those with the fire element are prone to impulsiveness, spending impulsively, and investing based on excitement. For them, plants help to calm their pace, but they must be stable, not grow too quickly, and not require complex care. The earth element is generally suited to stability and accumulation, but if the space is too heavy and lacks vitality, money will flow poorly. People with the earth element should choose plants that aren't too large, have compact roots and a sturdy form, helping to activate the flow without losing a sense of security. The plant here plays a role in gently opening the flow, not forcefully pushing it. The most important point in choosing plants that match one's element is placing it within the context of real life. Elements don't exist independently. They interact with space, occupation, lifestyle, and fortune. 2026 is a year that emphasizes harmony over extremism. Therefore, choosing plants according to your birth element requires flexibility, avoiding the mindset of absolute right or wrong. Aware feng shui reminds you that if a plant is considered compatible with your element, but makes you feel burdened, difficult to care for, or hard to live with, then it's not the right plant for you. And if a plant isn't on the list of compatible, but makes your space more pleasant and your mind more stable, then that plant is fulfilling its feng shui role correctly. Ultimately, choosing plants compatible with your element isn't about catering to your element, but about bringing it to its most balanced state. When a person is balanced, all flows, including wealth, have the opportunity to operate sustainably. If we separate the importance of plants from the context of current events, feng shui can easily become disjointed advice. But the fundamental principles of feng shui have never existed independently of the times. Each societal period has a different rhythm, and 2026 is a year with a very special rhythm. This is not a year of massive expansion, nor is it a year of reckless spending. This is a year of selection, maintaining rhythm, and restructuring from within. Therefore, the role of plants in 2026 will be very different from previous years. 2026 carries the energy of deliberate slowing down. On the outside, everything may seem to be moving fast, but inside, many individuals and families are forced to reevaluate how they live, how they earn money, and how they spend it. In this context, plants are no longer symbols of rapid growth, but rather symbols of enduring survival. A healthy tree in 2026 isn't one that grows quickly, but one that can withstand environmental changes without collapsing. Awakened Feng Shui views 2026 as a year of maintaining roots. Things without roots easily reveal their weaknesses. Undisciplined spending habits, emotionally driven financial decisions, and cluttered living spaces will begin to create more apparent pressure. In this context, houseplants serve as a very real indicator. The plants that die or wither easily in your home often accurately reflect your own unstable life rhythm. A major mistake in 2026 is continuing to apply the feng shui mindset of the up-and-coming phase, planting trees to seek breakthroughs, placing trees hoping for a flood of opportunities, choosing trees based on social media trends. All of these go against the year's auspicious energy. 2026 doesn't reward ostentation, but rewards sufficiency and correctness. The simpler, easier to care for, and more durable the plant, the more suitable it is for this year's rhythm. Also in 2026, psychological factors play a significant role in financial fortune. Prolonged pressure causes many people to fall into a state of quiet anxiety. If chosen and placed correctly, houseplants may not help you earn more money immediately, but they help prevent you from making wrong decisions due to fatigue. A space with stable plants often makes people slow down a few steps before spending, investing, or making major changes. And it is these few slow steps that make a huge difference in the long term. Awakened Feng Shui in 2026 advises reducing the number of plants, but increasing the quality of the relationship with them. Instead of many symbolic pots, Just a few plants that you truly care for and understand their life cycle are sufficient. This reflects the financial strategy you should have this year. Fewer sources, clear and controllable, rather than spreading yourself too thin. A crucial aspect of 2026 is the prolonged uncertainty, not a short-term shock. In this context, plants that require overly ideal environments or special conditions will become a psychological burden. Fundamental feng shui principles always avoid adding unnecessary burdens to living spaces. The plants of 2026 should be hardy, not demanding too much like how people need to learn to live more, simply to navigate this period. Looking deeper, the choice of plants in 2026 is no longer about whether they are feng shui compatible or not, but about whether you are living in the present moment. If you plant to escape financial worries, the plant will soon become a source of stress. But if you plant to remind yourself to live slowly, steadily, and with roots, then the plant is fulfilling its feng shui role most effectively. And that's the most important thing to remember for 2026. Plants won't help you move faster than others, but they will help you avoid breaking down along the way. In a year where perseverance is more valuable than explosive growth, that is the greatest feng shui value a tree can bring. Feng shui plants, when understood correctly, are a very subtle balancing element. But when used incorrectly, they don't retaliate in a spiritual way, but create subtle imbalances in the living space, leading to psychological and behavioral consequences that very few people notice. The danger of using feng shui plants incorrectly lies not in unexpected bad luck, but in the prolonged deviation that those involved don't realize. The first danger is creating a false sense of control. When people believe that simply placing the right plant will bring in money, they easily neglect practical financial discipline. They spend more freely, postpone adjusting their work, and harbor the hope that the plant will eventually bring it back. Feng shui, from being a psychological support, is transformed into an excuse to avoid facing real problems. And it is this avoidance that causes wealth to dwindle. The second danger is disrupting the living space. Too many plants placed in the wrong locations, or plants not properly cared for, make the space damp, heavy, and lacking rhythm. People living in such environments often become tired, lack concentration, and make slow or incorrect decisions. Money rarely remains stable in a space where the mind is constantly dragged down. A third, less discussed danger is clinging to the past. Some people keep withered, dead, or unsuitable plants out of regret or fear of losing their fortune. In mindful feng shui, this is a sign of clinging to the past. Those who are afraid to let go of a dead plant often also find it difficult to let go of wrong investments or outdated money-making models. This stagnation accumulates slowly, but the consequences are profound. The next danger is increasing anxiety instead of reducing it. When plants are assigned too much importance every time a plant sheds leaves or grows slowly, the grower worries that their fortune is in trouble. The mind is therefore never at peace. Original feng shui never created fear. If a feng shui element causes you more stress, then the way it's applied is wrong. Another danger is chasing feng shui trends. People buy whatever plant is being called a billionaire plant, luck-changing plant, or money-attracting plant for 2026, regardless of space, lifestyle, or ability to care for it. When the trend fades, the plant doesn't survive, and their belief collapses. This creates a vicious cycle of disappointment, searching, disappointment, which is very dangerous for their financial well-being. The final and greatest danger is losing the ability to self-observe. When overly reliant on external advice, people no longer listen to their true feelings about their living space. They no longer know whether they need peace or openness, whether they need to maintain or change. Mindful feng shui considers self-observation as its foundation. Without this foundation, no matter how many correctly placed plants are used, feng shui will not work. In short, feng shui plants don't harm anyone. The only danger arises when people use plants to replace mindfulness. When you remember that plants are merely a supporting element, not the center of your financial life, you avoid most of the risks. And that's why in mindful feng shui, people always say, don't ask if plants bring money, ask if they help you live in a more balanced way. If the answer is yes, you're using plants correctly. After all that has been said, perhaps the most important thing isn't how many principles you've memorized, but how much your perspective on feng shui has changed. The true version of feng shui is never a set of tricks to instantly change your destiny. It's a way of living, a way of arranging life so that people harm themselves less in their pursuit of wealth. And in that version, plants don't play the main role, but are merely very quiet guides. Using plants to change people doesn't mean the plants change your personality. They only create a stable enough environment for good qualities to emerge. A space with suitable plants often makes people slow down a little, observe a little more, and react less impulsively. These changes are small, but when repeated daily, they directly impact how you earn money, keep money, and decide your financial future. Mindful feng shui doesn't promise that placing a plant will instantly change your destiny. It only guarantees one thing. If you live in a well-balanced space, you'll be less likely to make wrong decisions due to fatigue, anxiety, or impatience. And in a period like 2026, avoiding mistakes is a huge success in itself. The correct version of feng shui also doesn't create dependence. You don't need to constantly ask, should I change the plant? Or do I need another plant? If the plant is healthy, the space is pleasant, and your mind is at peace, then the feng shui is working correctly. Any constant urge to change usually stems from insecurity, not from sound intuition. Using plants to change your life is also about learning to respect the natural rhythm. Plants grow slowly, recover slowly, and react slowly to environmental changes. When you live with plants long enough, you learn that not everything can be forced. This lesson goes straight to financial life, where patience and discipline are more important than any flashy strategy. The correct feng shui approach also helps you return to personal responsibility. The tree isn't responsible for your wealth. You are. The tree simply reminds you daily that what is properly cared for will thrive. What is neglected will wither. There's no magic involved, only a very fair rule. Understanding this, you'll no longer seek trees for good luck, but rather to create a living space that truly reflects the person you want to become. And when that person is formed sufficiently, wealth, if it comes, will come as a consequence, not as a random gift.